So in today's video, we're gonna show you guys the best ways to film your mountain bike ride with your new Insta360 action cameras.
Fall down.
So my favorite setup has to be the classic chin mount setup. Clip in the Ace Pro 2 just like that, so easy. This gets you such nice immersive footage. Your head is the most stable part of your body, so you get the most stabilized footage combined with the electronic image stabilization in camera, and it looks so good. So the way I set this up here, I just put this J-mount hook, I zap strapped it to my helmet. So with these magnetic clip-in mounts, you can set it and forget it. So when I find the right angle, I would use a knife and I would put a groove in here, and so that I always know where to line it up. So that way, whenever I take the camera off and on, so it's just really handy and convenient to be able to do that. So that is my favorite setup for sure for these cameras. But another option is of course to use the chest cam. As you see, I set up my chest cam right here. So this setup is not quite as stable as the chin mount, but it's very immersive. It's really fun to be able to see the handlebars going down the trail. Basically, the best way to set it up, you set the camera upside down, similar to the chin mount, and then you bring it up a bit so that when you're on the bike like this, it'll end up looking straight forward. So that is how we're gonna set this up for today. So let's record a little bit. Let's see how the chest cam footage looks in comparison to the chin mount footage.
See how these camera mounts look. Oh, amazing conditions for December. This is so good.
So this is the X4. This is a cool horizontal mount we've got here. We're going to screw it on here. This allows the camera to be attached horizontally to my helmet. So you screw in that bottom thread, and now we have access to a screw on the side here. Also, make sure you put these little windscreens that Insta360 gives you for the best audio. I love that they make these for the camera. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to be using this special piece right here to attach the X4 to my chin mount setup. So this is how this works. Of course, we could attach the X4 like this, except that would stick out way too far down and you'll end up hitting the handlebars of your bike or the stem. So now we're going to set up like this. And then using this special, we'll screw this up into it and it'll be firm in the direction that you placed it. Now it's looking straight. It won't wiggle around. It is offset a little bit. This will get you some sweet chin mount footage with the X4. If you don't want to use this whole finicky thing here with the J-mount and the zap straps, you can put this onto the chin of your helmet. Let's see. Let's make sure it's straight on here. You just strap it nice and tight. So this thing is actually pretty firm. So I'm going to use this same mount again. So this time we will not be needing this horizontal adapter. Let's just stick it on like this. Yeah, so again, you don't want to screw it all the way in because it won't line up straight. it'll be crooked like this. So what you do, we're gonna back off a bit until it's straight like this, and then we screw up this screw to basically lock it into place. So now it actually is quite firm, and now it'll be straight. We tighten that up. So what do you think? It is centered, so let's see what this one feels like.
Look at these berms. These conditions are just beautiful today.
So we used the X4 on the chin mount, that was pretty sick. But what if you want to capture all 360 degrees of this camera? What if I want to capture my friends in front and behind me? Well, I put on this sticky mount here on my helmet. With the X4, I can mount it straight up here like this. By installing the X4 here right on top, now I can see full 360 degrees. Never really used these things before. All right, we're gonna have some fun here. We're gonna stick on this unicorn mount. So we got the X4 on this carbon fiber unicorn mount. So I could have it straight up, which I'm not gonna do. I could move it all the way back like this, or up like this, or I could even move it forward like this, which will make for kind of a cool shot. We're gonna try both angles, forward and back. Let's see what kind of footage we can get. So it's 3:00 p.m. The sun is setting soon. Let's ride while we still got light. All right, what do you guys think of these camera angles? We've got the chin mount. We've got the unicorn mount. Look at all this amazing rock work. That was fun, seeing what it's like looking backwards. Now let's move this thing forward. Like this. Let's try this out. There we go. Hand up, Boostmaster merch.
Yes.
Front facing this time, hope it doesn't fall down. This is pretty freaking cool. Otherwise, we got the classic chin mount.
which is always nice looking. Well, this is definitely a bumpy trail, good for testing the sturdiness of this mount. So I am still recovering from an elbow injury. So I am still feeling that. Still can't ride my best. We got this super cool Insta360 carbon fiber selfie stick. Very stiff because it's carbon fiber. So we're gonna be sticking the X4 onto this selfie stick and we're gonna try out this waist mount. So we'll screw this thing all the way in. It's nice and firm. Get this thing nice and tight. Okay. How does it look, Wes?
Looks nice. Looks hilarious.
Like I want to see over my head.
Yeah,
right?
It will go over your head.
See over my head?
Yeah.
Yeah, ready. Yeah, this is not something I could do too often. It's you know what I mean?
All right, you guys, we got Insta360 Studio open right here. Let's drag and drop our video clip. That's one of the ways that we can open up these files. I'm just gonna maximize the program right here. So let's click play. We can just see what this clip is. We can actually just click and drag, kind of go through the timeline. We can see, okay, the camera is locked on my chest, so it's facing the wrong way. First of all, let's take a look on the right hand side. We've got a lot of different options here. Stabilization type, yes, we want flow state stabilization on. Direction lock, yes, we want it on. If it's off, it would kind of be looking the same way the entire time, which is definitely not what we want. I like it being locked. However, we just need it to turn around 180 degrees. Let me quickly show you how we do that. So in these keyframes here, this is where we get our look. So right here is the pan angle. We're going to move it 180 degrees, okay? We're going to keep it there at 180 the entire time. So if we click play, or let's just brush through, now it's going to be following me down the trail. Okay, now it is still pointing a bit up. Let's just adjust this look 1 second here. Let's add a keyframe here. The tilt angle, you got to angle it downward. So I'm going to go for about -35 right now. That's it. All kind of depends on how the camera is mounted exactly, but we got the roll angle. We don't need to worry about that. It's basically level. We'll keep that 0. Basically, everything is fine. Although we can have some fun with these different looks. We've got crystal ball, just so you understand what you can do here. There's different presets here, but then you can fine tune it with your FOV control and distortion control. So we've got crystal ball. Play a little bit. Let's make another keyframe. Let's check out Tiny Planet. So you could also do this. That's pretty fun. Make another keyframe. Let's go to Mega View. Oh, and I see it locked it down to -90. Let's fix that to 35. So you can see Mega View here. Let's try ultra. It's a little bit further in. So you see these FOV control is 79, distortion is 0.95. So those all change to create these different views. Let's look at dewarp. Now went to 0 and then 110 there. Okay, so this is all very different. Now what I find I like is somewhere around 104 and then 0.62. Let's take a look what that looks like here a second. I think that's pretty decent. Compare that to what the mega view is. Yeah, there's some differences. Oops, what am I doing? Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna stick with this for this clip for the sake of this tutorial. This is the look we're going for. 104 field of view control, 0.62 distortion control. Actually, since we made all these keyframes, why don't we actually look at how this works? Let's play back this clip, and we're going to see how the keyframes change into each other. So I did that crystal ball. So obviously this is not actually how we want our clip to be, but I'm just showing you how keyframes works. It goes to Tiny Planet, it goes back to what is it? The Mega View, Ultra View, and Dewarp. And then back to this final view that I kind of like right here. So that's just how keyframes work. So let's take a look a bit more at these settings on the side here. Direction lock, of course, is some of the most important settings to have. Keep that always on. Stitching settings, yes, my standard lens guards are on. It automatically detects that. I find optical flow stitching is good. AI stitching could be good. I don't know. I don't really mess with that stuff. But you've got lots of different options. You can, you know, mess with your exposure. You can do all sorts of color grading here, right? Different things there. Add saturation, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go into what you should do here. That's just up to you, really. I'm just kind of wanting to show you what you can do. There's, you know, clarity plus, different kind of options there. Motion ND, that's kind of like adding in, it's like adding in more shutter, or slower shutter speed, adding in more motion blur is what it is. Yeah, I don't really care for that.
So what do you think of this footage? I think this...
All right, so we're getting familiar with how this stuff works. Let me show you how to actually export it from here. But first, I made such a mess with all these keyframes here. I'm actually just going to delete them all. Okay, and I'm just going to redo that from the beginning. We're going to do 6.2, 104, 180 degrees. This is going to be negative 35. Done. Okay, that's going to be the entire clip. So actually we can trim this clip. So I'm actually going to cut a whole bunch of crap from the beginning here. Let's see where the clip actually starts, where we actually start riding it.
Don't want to hit this thing on my...
Okay, and I'm going to move this keyframe over a bit. Trim this stuff here. Okay.
handlebar.
You can see this is about where we start riding. Just bring in this end up here a bit. So if I want to cut that out, we just keep trimming that in here. Okay, so this clip is a lot smaller. This is our one keyframe.
Handlebar.
Okay, great. Now let's export this video clip so you understand how this works. Click menu here, file. We're going to do export over here. Okay, here we go. We're going to be exporting as a video, not 360 video. That's a whole nother thing. This is just as a regular 16:9 video. We can rename the file whatever we want. Test 16:9 clip. Yeah, we'll just put it to desktop. Bitrate, we can do full 200 megabit maximum amount. Now, yeah, you can do H.264, H.265, or ProRes 422. I mean, they're all good. ProRes 422 is basically the highest quality version. And if you look at the file size, 4.72 gigabytes compared to H.264, 1.58, even at max bitrate. The ProRes is quite a lot bigger. Wow. So if you want the highest quality stuff, you know, ProRes is what you're going to do. So I personally edit in Adobe Premiere Pro. So I do like to use the highest quality footage with the least amount of compression. So I would use the highest quality. So we can choose this. Here, let's rename that file again. Okay, add to queue. All right, guys, but what if I want to export this as a 9:16 aspect ratio for Instagram? Well, we've got this button right here, 16:9. We can change this to 9:16, and we can see a lot more on the tops and bottoms. And let's see how this looks. It may be a little too wide. We can, of course, change the look that we want for this as well. And yeah, when you choose these aspect ratios, you can kind of see what happens here. This one, you see more horizontally. 16:9, it's like you see less on the sides, but more top and bottom. 9:16, you see even less on the sides and even more on the top and bottom, right? So I love being able to choose all these different aspect ratios. That is super cool. All right, so we got our 16:9 clip. Let's export that now. Test 9:16. Go to the desktop. Yeah, let's do ProRes again. So resolution, yes, of course, the full 4K resolution. That's what we're always doing. You could do a different resolution if you want, but yeah, 4K makes sense. Let's do add to queue. All right, so the queue will basically be over here, task center. We can start all right here. Let's let them export and see how long that takes. Doesn't look like it's going too long, actually. All right, sweet. Export is done. Okay, let's close the program here.